Hey everybody, it's Mallory Reif with Edina Realty here. I am with Leah Jones, a friend of mine. She owns LJ Interiors, and we wanted to do a little Q&A with LJ. But she's an awesome design contact I have, and I wanted to pick her brain for you guys. Some of you submitted questions last week, so we'll go through some of those. But I wanted to just give you some tips on design and things you can do to kind of spruce up your house for selling or just to live there staying put. So I think we will start. The first question I wanted to ask Leah is, it's spring cleaning season, so if you were going to spruce up your front porch, what would you do to it?
Well, definitely first clean it off. So we've had a long, hard winter. So the fact that we have probably a lot of just dust, sand, kind of debris outside. So take a broom, take a blower, just clean it off. Get started with that.
Okay.
But then maybe bring out a new welcome mat, shake off the one they had out there if you don't want to get a new spring one. But then also it's a great time now for violets and violets right now, but just kind of add some color to your front porch, so some pinks and purples and yellows and things like that.
Okay.
Oftentimes people have a front door that they can put a wreath on. So I'm certainly one that changes it out seasonally.
Me too.
So kind of like bring on the sun. So I always put a new wreath on my front door. But just kind of cleaning up your yard, cleaning up your front porch, cleaning up your yard. Obviously, you can start by raking, dethatching, things like that, just to kind of start that process of the grass growing. So, unfortunately, it kind of starts at the door. People make their assumptions about your home before they even step foot inside.
Curb appeal is a real thing, people.
Absolutely. So those are kind of my, I guess, easy, quick tips, and pretty affordable as well.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
All right, I think my next question now will go to the inside of your home. I get a lot of questions from people about what should I paint my living room? What color is trending this year? So what advice can you give somebody on paint colors?
Well, I would say that my advice is to ask for advice. The most expensive part about painting your home is actually hiring the painter. So in order to fall in love with the color, whether you're selling or staying, choose a color that is neutral and that you can add colors through like accessories or decor or artwork, things like that.
Okay.
But go to your local paint stores, or I'm certainly happy to come into your home. And what we'll take into consideration are your finishes. So your trim and your windows and your flooring and your furniture and your appliances. All those things kind of really take or are a piece of kind of the puzzle in terms of deciding on the right color. And you don't have to have the same color throughout your whole home.
Yeah.
But kind of the main spaces, it's really it's kind of soothing, but it also then doesn't detract, from the things that you really want to kind of enhance.
In a home. That makes sense. So, I think a little bit of paint touch-up goes a long way too. I mean, if you're selling or not, you're moving furniture around this spring, you're spring cleaning. If you notice some chips in your walls, touch them up.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
It's good.
Yep.
I think too, this is more for people that are looking to sell. If you're looking to sell, what rooms would you focus on? Staging or design or just decluttering and cleaning things up?
Sure. So the top 3 rooms are going to be your living room, your kitchen, and your master bath. So those are the ones that either you spend the most amount of time in, or that as somebody is touring the home, that they're going to spend the amount of time on, because they're generally the ones that are going to be buying the house, and so they want to know what their spaces are going to look like and feel like. So those are the ones that you're going to want to spend the most time making sure that they're kind of spruced up and that they appeal to the most amount of people. So making sure that you take down sort of those personal things, a lot of family photos. I know how expensive they are. However, you want people to envision or be able to envision that home and where they can make their memories instead of where you've made yours. So you have to kind of start to detach from the home. and kind of, get them to see how they can start to build, their life in your home.
Sure.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's hard to do after you've been in your house
It
for so long.
It is. But I guess the important part about it is you get to then start the next chapter of your life, so the sooner you start to do that, the sooner you get to move on to the next phase of your journey.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah, it's actually
Good
a really
tip.
exciting time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I think our next questions are a little more specific. We had these asked of us. I see a lot of oak in homes, unless it's newer construction. But oak was the thing; it was in. How do people kind of accessorize or design around that oak without spending a fortune to replace the oak? Like if they want white cabinets or dark flooring, how does that all fit with the oak?
Sure. Well, there are certainly things that you can do, and again, kind of going back to what we had talked about before, but taking all finishes into consideration. So your trim, your windows, your furniture, your appliances, as silly as it might be. So something that you could start with is paint, paint color, because sometimes that helps to kind of neutralize and take away sort of that yellow tone.
Okay.
If you choose the right color.
Sure.
Oftentimes they have hardware on them, and so even changing out hardware, to a different finish, you can really kind of bring it up to date.
And that's
a little
pretty
bit.
inexpensive.
It is definitely. And then again, taking into consideration even appliances, things like that. But there are so many homes that mix and match colors of woods that there's really no right or wrong. It's sort of what feels right and what feels good in your space.
Okay.
But those are the things that I can help kind of walk you through in a consultation.
Yeah.
So we take all of those things into consideration, and we talk about paint colors, and we talk about other finishes, and we talk about ways to bring in accessories or artwork to, again, help to detract maybe the things that you're not wanting to focus on.
Sure.
And I don't want it to sound like I'm not answering the question, but it really does depend. And it's a vague answer, but it's very specific to each home.
Yep. That makes sense.
What the answer is actually is, going to work for everybody.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And I think our last question will be, how do you accessorize your fireplace? I'll post in the comments later Leah's fireplace because I'm just so jealous of how she decorates her house. Obviously, she's a designer. But I get some questions. Most of my questions are, can I convert this fireplace to gas, or can I convert it back? But people also want to know, how should they accessorize it? What should they put around it? So what would you tell people to do?
Sure. So I think that fireplace mantles and bookshelves are a couple of the areas that really trip people up, because either they think it needs to be all matchy-matchy, or they see Pinterest boards, or they see things that are just like, oh, I love that home, but how do I incorporate it?
Yeah.
So I think finding out what your styles are, and not even like it's beach cottage or it's traditional or it's fine. I mean, those are sort of those are styles for sure, or categories of styles. But finding things that like sort of speak to you, and then doing it in triplicate. So if you find something that's dark, do like 3 dark things. Okay. Or if you find something that's metal, incorporate metal. I always incorporate some green, so some kind of artificial plants, just because it gives a little life, gives a little movement to the area. But I use a lot of wood, use a lot of metal, and I mix finishes and textures and things like that, and heights. Mix heights as well.
Sure, yeah.
So in groups of 3 is kind of the magic number, just because you can have sort of different heights, different textures, and it's just a good solid number. So I decorate my mantle seasonally, and even sometimes more than that, just because I might find something and I just need to make it work. So. And then also kind of incorporating new things and old things.
Okay.
It's just kind of whatever makes you comfortable, looking at that every day. And I guess I'm a pretty particular person in that I will rearrange and arrange and, just to get it just so.
Yeah.
But once we have sort of, again, what the things that you like in your home, we can get them sort of put together in a way that doesn't look so put together.
Sure.
That it's purposeful,
that
that it's functional, but at the same time it works for you. So, and I'll give you some tips and tricks too, as far as if you do want to switch them out, seasonally, so that look for something that looks like this to then replace it out.
Okay.
And take pictures. Honestly, I look through my phone every season, like, what did I do on my mantle? What did I do in this little cove? What did I do here? And I go back to those.
Yeah.
And, oh, that's right. So I take it out of storage and I put it back up on the mantle or whatever. But
cool.
So take pictures of your spaces that once you have them all decorated and you're happy with, then it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, exactly. I know exactly what to do with that. So
nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, as you can tell, there are some cut and dry answers to these questions, but a lot of these design questions are going to depend on your space. So that's why I have such a great contact to help you guys. If you have other questions that you want to ask us later, shoot me a message. We can answer those later on. But yeah, happy to help anytime. We can get you guys hooked up with Leah and out to your place to give you some tips and tricks for the spring season or selling season.
Absolutely.
So, but thank you so much for answering all of our design questions, and you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.